Hello and welcome to another advanced Unity Gamedev tutorial. Today we are going to take a look at strange attractors and particle effects. Implementing them is actually very easy, so today is going to be a little bit of a shorter tutorial, but you can create very interesting effects, mostly useful in magic spells. So I got the original idea by finding this website called dynamicmath.xyz. It's very typical for me to find such websites. And yeah, I saw these particles flying around, and I thought maybe we can do this in VFX graph as well. So what is it that we have to do? So we see these formulas here, and they might look a little bit scary, but they're actually very simple. And you can think of the x over dt as the change in x over time. And the same is true for dy over dt and dc over dt. And so in other words, these formulas give us a velocity for a given position. So each position in space then has a unique velocity, depending on how we choose the constants. So I have chosen to implement the 4-wing strange attractor. And so we go to Unity, and you see I have already implemented 5 strange attractors because it's not too much effort. So we make a subgraph operator so we can reuse the strange attractor in every VFX graph. So we right-click Create, Visual Effects, and Visual Effects subgraph operator. And our strange attractor is called 4-wings. Here we see that we have 3 parameters, and our subgraph operator will have 3 parameters as well. So let's delete everything first. Then we add 3 parameters, A, B, and C. They are all floating point parameters. We also need the position as input and the velocity as output. So now we can drop all these inputs and outputs on the board. And then we are ready to start. Okay, so the velocity x is a times x plus y times c. Okay, so we need a multiply node. A times x, then another multiply node, y times c, and then we add them together. A times x plus y times c. And now we need to set the x component of the velocity to this value here, so we need a vector-free node. Then link it up like this. And that is the x velocity. So we just have to do the same thing for the y velocity and the c velocity, and then we have the complete velocity vector. So I will go ahead and just implement it and show you the time lapse. Now that the subgraph is finished, we can include it in a regular VFX graph, and we do it in the same way we would add any other node, but just pressing the spacebar and writing out the name. Here I already have a little bit of a setup that limits the velocity of a particle to a maximum of 10. And the reason is that strange attractors are not very stable otherwise. They can be, but it might be that some particles fly off to infinity, and so this prevents this from happening. So now we get the position of the particle and plug it into our node. And then we take the velocity and add it inside here. The reason I have added an add here is because you can add strange attractors together. And you can create composite effects which can create some interesting patterns. Now we still need to choose some values for A, B, and C. And there are recommendations on the website here, 0.2, 0.01, etc. But we can just add it as regular parameters. Now we have successfully created a strange attractor, so the only thing left to do is to test if it works. Well, it does do something, but we also haven't changed the parameters and they're all 0 right now, so I'll be right back. So after playing around a little bit, you can create effects like this very easily. And like mentioned before, you can simply add those strange attractors together to get different effects. So these are strange attractors, and you can get 6 subgraph operators already. In the video description below there's a link to a GitHub repository of all the tutorials. So I see it in the analytics that this is the point where you click away from the video, but please follow the channel, leave a like, it really helps out a lot. And you can also find other things I've created in the past, like Unity assets and games, in the video description below. And with that, thank you very much and goodbye.